and they win the NFC South.
What's good, everybody? Let's talk some Tampa sports. So we've talked enough about the draft class, the 6 guys that we brought on, where we think their outlook is and where they'll end up on the depth chart. Still plenty to see there. Of course, rookie minicamp just got finished, so a lot of this stuff is to be determined. We're just looking at where they'll end up. So today we're switching over to the undrafted free agents, seeing where they can end up. Obviously, a lot of these guys will not make the team. They're really fighting for maybe 1 or 2 will make the 53, but really fighting for those practice squad spots. And who knows where they end up. I mean, there's plenty of guys that have made this team. You think of Christian Izien, Kayvon Merriweather, Sean Tucker, Cameron Johnson. I mean, there's plenty of guys that have made the team over the last 1 or 2 years. So let's take a look at these guys this year. And it was a group of 15 that they initially brought on, and then they did end up bringing 2 more on following that, and we'll get into those guys as well. So I'll just give you the look here. I'm not going to read through every single guy. There's 15 guys here, and like I said, they did bring on 2 more after that. So that's a lot of guys to go through for a lot of guys who probably won't make the team. But I'm going to purposely stick to the guys that are at positions of need. It's a very interesting undrafted free agent class for the Buccaneers. I think that's pretty obvious. They brought on Ben Chukwuma, probably saying that wrong, a tackle from Georgia State, who is actually the highest paid undrafted free agent in the entire NFL. Yeah, so the Bucs must be pretty high on him. Of course, there's the national media talking a ton about Desmond Watson, 400 whatever pound nose tackle from Florida, and then of course talking about Shiloh Sanders. We already know the whole story there. So it's an interesting class, to say the least. Probably the most interesting class that I can remember for the Buccaneers. Not often you're talking this much about undrafted free agents, but kind of some splash signings. Whether they make the team, we'll see, but definitely notable names. So the biggest positions of need, I would say at this point after the draft, is linebacker, number 1, and safety, number 2. I know we're all expecting Tyke Smith to move to safety and kind of cover up that hole, but I think overall the depth there could use some help. Like Jordan Whitehead's not here. Are we still going to rely on Kayvon Merriweather? What is really the plan there? They didn't draft a safety. So let's look into the undrafted free agents. So the first guy we'll look at is, I guess I'll call him Mr. Ben. No, I'm not talking about Uncle Ben the Rice or Uncle Ben, Spider-Man's uncle. I'm talking about Mr. Ben from Georgia State. His grades are not too good. They're really not. I will say this is a very raw player. I don't think he started playing football until 2017. And with him playing football from 2017, he also didn't start playing at Georgia State until 2023. So he was a redshirt senior, did not start playing until 2023, and then ended up playing last year as well. That's not a lot of experience, not a lot of time in real-time games. But clearly the Bucs see potential, making him the highest paid undrafted free agent in the entire NFL. 6'6", 310. Hopefully the potential that they do see does pan out, and it provides the Bucs with some good depth. Obviously last year we saw Luke Gadecki go out for a while with that concussion, and we had to have Justin School in there, which started rough, but I'll give him that he got better throughout the year, and now he's not on the team. We did pick up another backup tackle for that, but I think with the Bucs making him the highest paid undrafted free agent, he's probably guaranteed a spot on the practice squad. I think we could say that. Next, let's go into those 2 positions of need. So John Bulock is the one linebacker that they signed from their initial 15 undrafted free agents. Has pretty good grades. Overall 72.6, not too shabby. Coverage grade, not too bad. Pass rush grade when he is asked to blitz is actually very good. Run defense, not too bad. Not crazy numbers, as you would expect. I mean, he is an undrafted free agent at the end of the day. 6 foot, 230. Let's see what the Buccaneers had to say about him. So spent his entire college tenure at Nebraska in his home state after starring as a prep in Omaha. Moved from defensive back to linebacker. Then he gets into some family stuff. I want to learn more about that play. 2024, John Bulock capped his Huskers tenure by earning honorable mention All Big Ten accolades after starting all 13 games, setting career highs with 70 tackles, 4 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. Also broke up 5 passes, 1 interception, and 2 forced fumbles. So, all pretty good numbers there. Honorable mention for All Big Ten, which obviously is a top conference in college football. I think there is definitely a path for him to make the 53 if he shows he's capable, and for sure being on the practice squad just due to the lack of depth at the linebacker position with it's Levante, Servassier Dennis, Anthony Walker Jr., and then after that it's J.J. Russell. Do we want to try that again? I don't know. Those are things we'll have to see throughout OTA's training camp and the preseason. And then the other linebacker that they brought on, which was later on, he wasn't part of the initial 15, is Nick Jackson, another Big Ten linebacker, 6 foot 235, so about the same build as John Bulock. So let's see what they had to say about Jackson. So played 4 seasons at Virginia before finishing his run with 2 years at Iowa. Overall appearing in a whopping 73 games, so a ton of experience. He was extremely productive in those 73 games, racking up 555 tackles, 17 sacks, 33 tackles for loss, 1 interception, 19 pass deflections, 3 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. Jackson is now one of 2 off-ball linebackers his team has signed as rookie free agents after not addressing that position in the draft as he joins who we just talked about, John Bulock. So just bringing his grades back up. Little bit worse than John Bulock, but he does have a lot more experience than John Bulock when you look at him just playing 2 seasons at Nebraska and Nick Jackson playing, like they said, 4 at Virginia and 2 at Iowa. Really, all we can do is look at things on paper right now. On paper, it seems like John Bulock might have more talent, but at the end of the day, these 2 guys are going to be battling it out for a spot on this team. So I'm excited to see how those 2 guys compete with each other, make each other better every day, and who ends up making the team. We'll see. Maybe both of them do. Who knows? The depth is pretty rough at linebacker. Next, let's go to the other position of need, in my opinion, that I talked about, and that is the safety position. Of course, Shiloh Sanders. We've all heard about it, seen it. From what I've heard, the Bucs did not have a draftable grade on Shiloh Sanders, which I guess is how he ends up here as an undrafted free agent. And Shiloh Sanders' agent actually called Jason Light and was like, hey, can you give my guy a chance? And Jason Light is like, sure. So that's how that ended up happening based on what I've heard. 6 foot 195. Let's not act like Shiloh Sanders is a scrub. I do see him getting a lot of hate. For what reason, I'm not really sure. He can't control that his dad is Deion Sanders and that the national media talks about him all of the time. Is he as good as how much he is being talked about? Probably not, but it's not a reason to hate the guy. He can't control who his father is, like I said, and he can't control how much other people talk about him because of his father. The guy has been nothing but a class act. If you saw the video of him in his first press conference, going up to every single reporter, introducing himself, shaking his hand, and everything that I've seen from what the Bucs posted about Shiloh Sanders, there's nothing to hate on. There's nothing to hate on. And he's shown nothing but class and respect since he got here. So I want to personally put that out there because I am just seeing an unnecessary amount of hate for a guy who I don't think has done anything wrong. Seriously. And he's not a scrub. He's not a scrub. He played in the SEC for a reason. He got recruited and got playing time at South Carolina for a reason. Before Deion, of course, went to Colorado, and he started a ton of games at Colorado as well. So a ton of experience. Grades are okay, 68 overall, which about middle of the pack based on Pro Football Focus for all safeties in college football last year. Pass rush grade, when he's asked to blitz, okay. Coverage grade is above a 70, so that's pretty good there. Run defense is a little bit lower than that. Let's go see what the Bucs had to say about him. 6 foot 185, Sanders played the last 2 seasons at Colorado under his father, Deion Sanders, the Buffalo's head coach, and alongside his brother Shadur, of course. The team's starting quarterback and a 5th-round pick with the Cleveland Browns. Shiloh Sanders also played 2 seasons at South Carolina before joining his father at Jackson State for 2 years. So I did forget to mention that he also played at Jackson State before Colorado. In his 3 stops, combined he played 54 games, 36 starts, amassed 229 tackles, 6 interceptions, one of which he returned for a touchdown in 2023. So that's just the little summary they give on Shiloh. I'm rooting for him. I have no reason not to root for him. Like I said, everything they've shown us, he's been nothing but a class act. But yeah, I mean, my overall sentiment on Shiloh, I mean, like, give the guy a chance. I mean, if we drafted him in the 4th, 5th, whatever round, then sure, there comes with expectations, and there's a lot more to that. But he is an undrafted free agent. If it works out where he plays well, does good in training camp, and ends up making the practice squad or whatever, then cool. That's a nice find for the Bucs, and we can all be happy that the Bucs found some depth at safety. If it doesn't work out, he's an undrafted free agent. You cut ties, you move on. Big deal. Give the guy a chance. Now let's get to my easily favorite player that they brought on in this undrafted free agent class, and that is J.J. Roberts, who I do think was good enough to be drafted in this year's draft, somehow goes undrafted, somehow ends up going to the Bucs, who does have a need at safety when you look at the depth. Playing at Marshall, overall defensive grade, 91. Pass rush grade, 93.5. Coverage grade, a 90. Run defense, nearly an 80. His grades are off the chart, playing a lot at free safety, but also does have some experience playing in the box as well, coming up. 5'11", 185, a bunch of experience, playing plenty. It's something I'm very excited about. It is something I'm very excited about, and I'm really happy that he did end up with the Bucs. So Roberts, 5'11", 192 is what they're calling it, so maybe his weight did go up a little bit from that 185. Played 3 seasons at Wake Forest, so if anyone wants to call out, he only has experience in the Sun Belt. That's not good competition. Well, he played in the ACC, so there you go there. Before moving to Marshall for his last 2 collegiate campaigns, overall he appeared in 55 games, 28 starts, 213 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions, 28 pass defense, and 5 forced fumbles. Was first team All Sun Belt Conference last year. Led the Sun Belt with 14 pass defense and started all 13 games. Once again, the guy that I'm most excited about, of course, Sanders, and of course Desmond Watson is getting a ton of attention. I guess I'm not going to go too deep into Desmond Watson. I do hope he makes the team, of course, just because I guess it'll be fun, and you know, the dream of him and Vita Vea next to each other, like stopping the tush push, like I'm here for it. I get it. Super exciting. 6'6", 464. Played in every game for the Gators from 2021 to 2024. Was a starter in 10 games as a sophomore in 2022. Finished his college career with 63 tackles and 1.5 sacks. Appeared in all 13 games last year. Contributed 20 tackles, 1 pass breakup, 1 QB hurry. At the Florida Pro Day, recorded 36 reps, which was more than any prospect at the Combine. I don't think that's surprising at 6'6", 464. The guy is an absolute monster in the middle. He's not here to get sacks. He's not here to rush the passer. He is here to just be a wall in the run game. That's it. I'm interested to see what they think his playing weight should be and how much weight they hope that he can drop. But at the end of the day, him and Vita Vea next to each other, who wouldn't want to at least see that, like, tried out, tested against the tush push? Like, we gotta see it once, right? That's gonna be it for me. Not going over every single undrafted free agent, but the ones at positions of need, in my opinion, which also makes them the guys most likely to make the team because of depth. So let me know your comments down below. Any other guys you want to talk about, I'm happy to hear you out in the comment section. Share your thoughts on the guys that I did share as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. Go Bucs, and you all have a blessed one.
Hey, hey, Tampa Bay.